Hi there, folks. My name is Novaween24, and welcome to a very, very grumpy episode of the Three Grumpy Simmers. So, I'm going to preface this episode by saying that I am absolutely livid about what we're going to be talking about today. So, we have convened in our grumpiness to assemble. So, of course, to ally with my grumpiness, I'm joined by my fellow two grumpy simmers. Joined by Sérgio from Helisimmer.com.
Hello, everyone.
And of course, we are joined by that most adept pilot and very angry F-14 Tomcat pilot, Drew BelGeode. I mean, I've got to admit though, I got to admit, I'm slightly less grumpy because I get to see your purple hat. So I'm slightly less grumpy because of that. But we are here. Okay.
And I'm rocking my Reign of Z shirt. Reign of Z is a local band. My good friend Zolja, well, she goes by the nickname Zoe. She is the queen of local heavy metal right now. She's doing us proud, so I gotta give her the shout out.
Hell yes, always support local folks. Whether it be musicians, business, retailer, suppliers, always support local. Support your local artists.
Absolutely.
So, all right, let's not beat about the bush, shall we? Let's talk about some grumpiness. So, a couple of things have happened over the last, one in particular over the last week, but others have been smoldering and developing for the last month or so, and that one is the first one that we're going to be talking about today. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying that we have always here, so all three of us here are creatives, we're artists, we are people who create content, and we have always made sure that we've always passed on to the community that our community only exists because of honesty and generosity and the fact that we call out piracy and we call out inappropriate behavior when we see it and when we hear it. That an artist absolutely deserves to be paid for their work, absolutely deserves to be rewarded for their time. So when I became aware of a incident where a developer's work was lifted, not just in part, borrowed a couple of lines of config file here, or just sort of took a window configuration setting or something like that, but literally lifted the entire aircraft wholesale. Slapped the avionics, slapped the flight model, slapped the aircraft config file, even the damn pilot eye settings, wholesale, not only into a new 3D model, but then sold it to us, the community. Literally, this individual made bucket tons of money from doing this. Now, unfortunately, or perhaps fortunately, depending on how you want to look at it, for legal reasons, because I have been involved in this fairly extensively, we are not allowed to discuss the actual developer in question that conducted this crime. And I'm going to call it for what it is. It is a flat-out crime. It is theft.
It is theft.
Yeah, there is no if, buts, or maybes about this. This is flat-out theft. So for legal reasons, unfortunately, we cannot disclose the developer that did this heinous act. We can't even disclose what platform they sold it through. We have been given permission, however, to reveal and discuss who the victim of this crime was. And the victim was DC Designs and their F-15 Eagle product that was released for MSFS.
I know them. I've been having a pretty decent conversation with DC Designs over the last few months regarding the Eagle, the Tomcat, and all of that. They've actually got a lot of respect from me.
Exactly, and for me, I've been familiar with DC Design's work ever since they launched their first product, which was the FA-18 Super Hornet for FSX and Prepared. And I've been very fortunate, and it's one of the things that I really cherish about the role that I have here as part of our community of being able to look at content and review it and preview it and content is that I know I don't do the 5 minute, instant as soon as it's released, first look videos. I take my time, and it could be months before after a release happens before I get to review it, but I will review it in depth. Yes, you get an hour-long video, deal with it. But I will go through this.
So I roll, hey.
Exactly. But yeah, I'll go through in detail, and I've been incredibly privileged to be able to watch DC Designs grow as a developer. From their first release, not only did they listen to the feedback from the community, they then went out, re-attacked their research. They went, gathered more research. They improved their content, improved their design, improved their workflows, and to the point where their products, when they came out for MSFS, they hit the ground running. Were they first to market? No. But again, they've hit the ground running, and they've, again, already released several updates that have improved it even better. So it's been wonderful to watch this developer grow and improve and produce a high-quality product for the community. Do I think the product's slightly too expensive? Yes. But the quality is still there for what it says what it says on the tin. It's a 80% replication of the aircraft that allows us, to those of us who want to jump in and fly and get the experience of flying a jet without going through a 12-week conversion course. I mean, does that sum up DC Designs pretty well?
Pretty much. And just a side note that's somewhat related, the F-15 in question just received another update this week. So if you own the F-15, you may want to go to wherever you purchased it from and download the update for it. So, there you go.
Yep. So again, the developer is still, improving and growing and learning and giving us a better product. So that's why it was incredibly devastating for me when I became aware of this thief that had stolen the aircraft wholesale, and just dropped it in and wrapped another 3D model around it. And it just, I don't have words to describe how angry it makes me. I mean, I'm going to throw to my two fellow grumpy sinners here for your thoughts and opinions, for what you feel it means to not just the viewer, like the user community, but the developer community as well. What does that mean to have an add-on like that's acclaimed, that's well regarded, well reviewed, to then be lifted and stolen wholesale and slapped over by somebody else?
That's not the first time that it happens, unfortunately. And I think we are going to see, due to the massification of Microsoft Flight Simulator and the fact that flight simulation, I wouldn't say it got into mainstream, but it got a lot of feedback and a lot of exposure on a lot of mainstream media. It even came out on CNN and other websites related to computer games. But it's not the first, unfortunately. And the three of us, we moderate several Facebook groups, and we work on several community platforms. And if there's one thing that we do immediately if we detect piracy, is just to ban the person that's doing it. Posts get deleted, folks get banned. That's it. No warning, nothing. So we take it the three of us take it very seriously. That's something
to that. Just to add to that, what Sergio's saying, not only do we typically ban the offender, but we will also share around our network of folks that we know that run other groups or forums or Discord channels and whatnot. So you can rest assured the entire community is going to know before that 24-hour period is over.
Yep.
Yeah. You're not just going to get banned from our group. You're probably going to get banned from a lot of groups, because not only we moderate other groups as well, but we know the moderators of the other groups, and we get in touch. We are not. I've once listened to a conversation. I think it was at Flight Sim Expo. Personally, I was just talking to some guys, and I heard some conversation of some guys talking about competition between groups or communities, but there's no competition between communities or groups. We all talk to each other, and we all work with each other. And when something like this happens, alarms sound off, and we get the message out there.
Yep.
And not only we do that, we also communicate with the developer that was ripped off, so that he or she or the team can pursue whatever they need to pursue.
Yep.
I remember some time ago this happening to another company, to X Trident, which does the Bell 412, and most recently the Chinook for X-Plane. They had the 412 stolen. There was a guy that just blatantly got a copy of the helicopter and started selling it on YouTube, actually. And there were a lot of people asking for it, and they were fooled. It was a battle, and I personally fought that battle with X Trident. I called the guy out. I added comments. I sent messages. I reported the video. I got other people to report the video. So it's not, we take it very seriously, and it pisses me off also, not only as a community member, but also as a developer. As you guys know, I've been a developer for over 20 years, and also as a content creator. It's not like anyone is going to steal my content because it sucks, but
that's a lie. Your content is awesome, sir.
Oh, please. Here we go.
I'm joking. It doesn't suck. It's wonderful. Go watch it. Seriously though, we feel this when this happens to developers and to creators. So, and we do not take it lightly.
Because
and I think,
yeah.
I was just going to say that I have one concern really, which it's related to one of the first things that I said before, is that I think that the massification of sims, and especially with the amount of attention that Microsoft Flight Simulator is having, I tend to believe that we are going to see more of this in the future, and it will be up to us, community, to stop this right away. It's going to be a hard fight, because
I think that's a really good point, because the sad reality is you're right. This isn't the first time that it's happened. Absolutely not. Like, I personally, again, have been involved in 2 other incidences where content is being sold that was blatantly stolen from other developers. Like, they didn't even bother pretending with it. Like, at one point, one of these individuals was selling scenery with a landable USS Enterprise in that scenery. It wasn't. It was Javier's Nimitz that had been slapped in as a BGL object, and they didn't even bother retexturing the number on the bow to make it.
So it never even occurred to them that the Enterprise is 65 and the Nimitz is 68. That's like not even trying at that point.
Like exactly, they didn't even try. Like, this is what made me so angry about this, and I called the developer out about it. I called the store where they sell their content. I spoke, and I went back to, because this particular developer stole from 3 other developers. He stole from 3 other developers. I contacted all 3 of them. 2 of them came back to me and verified that they had never given permission for them to reuse their assets. And yeah, absolutely, it's piracy. And they reported it to the platform. They reported the developer. I did the same. And to this day, that product, and this is what made me incredibly angry 3 years on, that product is still for sale right now. Like, it just, we need to do better. We need to do better. Now, what we can say, as I said, we can't talk about the platform this was sold on. We can't talk about the developer that was selling this aircraft which stole DC Design's content. Sorry, I got to say this as well. So the F-15, right? Okay, the F-15, right? So the one made by DC Designs. Okay, so it's sold in. It's inside the one pack. It's available in four different models. You've got the C, you got the C, the D, the E, and the I. Okay, so the D, the E, and the I, they're all two-seaters. They've got a pilot in the front. They've got a Wizzo in the back. This person who stole from this F-15 didn't even bother removing the cockpit eye point from the Wizzo's position. From the config file. Like,
at this point, you just want to be caught.
Like, the texture file names were the same as they were shipped with the DC Designs Eagle. Like, sorry, the blatancy was just it. Anyway, what we can report is that and this is the part that it's both a good story and a bad part of this story, is that this product is not, so the product that was stolen, that used the stolen content, is no longer for sale, and that developer has had all of their content removed from sales platforms. Good. So that's a win. It took the legal might and like proper full-fledged legal case, and lawyers made a shit ton of money out of this process, by the way, folks. Like, everybody else lost except the lawyers. Kind of says a lot of things, but anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. So it took the legal team hired and paid for by DC Designs' publisher Just Flight in order for anything to happen. Like, they tried sort of doing the nice way. They had to bring lawyers in with full-fledged actual like legal action had to be taken to get this stuff pulled and get this product stopped. So while I'm glad that at least this heresy is this criminality has been stopped for now. It's the effort it took to happen. As I said, I'm aware of content that I've reported as in containing stolen material that is still for sale to this day. I know we had an example. I know, Sergio, you had the success with X-Trident for 1.2. I remember being involved with that with you as well. But my problem is and this is what's got me so livid, is that I think you're absolutely right, Sergio, is that the runaway popularity that MSFS has now means that we are going to see more and more of this. We are going to see more and more of these opportunistic thieves coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah. Because crime will pay. Crime will pay, because the sheer number of people that's coming into the sim is going to make it worth it. Yep. I'm not saying that it's I'm not saying that our community is not aware of what's happening in terms of, we are not a community that condones piracy. It's not like people are looking for, there are always a few rotten apples, and it's just like with anything else.
Everything, yes.
Exactly. But we are not a community that condones piracy. That's not how we work. But the thing is, the people that are unaware, and most of the time we're talking about people that are completely unaware of what's happening. You know, the guys that bought that product that was a copy of the F-15, I believe that 99.9% of the people, of those persons never knew.
Yep.
And 99% of the persons that would would know about the piracy issues and probably ask for a refund if they could, they would do it. Yep. So it's a very small percentage of people that are actually perfectly happy with not caring. It's not knowing. It's not caring about what the source is. Because if you tell someone, look, don't get this aircraft because it's bad or it's stolen, and people just don't care because it's whatever aircraft they want to fly, even if it's really bad, even if it just has 2 engines but shows 4 engines somewhere on the add-on. I know you guys want to pick that up later on.
We'll get to that.
That's coming.
Okay, so I'm just laying out the tracks for you guys. But the thing is, people don't care, right? A lot of people don't even care. But the thing is, the sheer amount of that small percentage, the sheer amount, the absolute numbers, because this is a small percentage.
Yep.
But because of what Microsoft Flight Simulator is, and I'm not blaming Microsoft Flight Simulator. It has nothing to do with the fact that it's Microsoft Flight Simulator. It only has to do with the phenomena of the growing numbers in the community, of the growing amount of people that's coming into the hobby or coming back into the hobby, because we have a lot of people coming back into the hobby.
Yep.
So the absolute number for that small percentage is going to make this very profitable, and it's going to make this an area in which it's going to grow a lot, because it's going to be very easy for a lot of people to just steal something, snap a sticker on top of it, put it on marketplaces, and off we go.
And that's it. And I guess I want to make sure that I want to differ this here between, simulation fidelity versus theft, because simulation fidelity, you will get an idea of what you'll buy, and whether you feel it's worth the money or not, that's up to you and your own value meter. But you're right, Sergio, is that the sheer number of people coming into our hobby now, or coming back, actually, probably coming back is a big one, because the number of names and faces and voices I'm hearing in chats and they're reaching out of the woodwork for me, going, "Wow, I literally haven't heard from you in a decade." And it's wonderful to see. It's wonderful to see. But what we have to do, and I think we need to, as a greater community, is that we need to do much like we as moderators do, when for those who moderate different groups of all the different sims and all the rest of it, is talk to each other, folks. Okay, support your developers. Okay, and in a way, we're kind of going to go back and talk about something that we covered a year ago. I'm pretty sure this was when we talked about where you buy your add-ons from. Buy them from reputable places. Buy them from places that you trust. Go to reviewers. Go to have a look at Sergio's website for review and his news side of if he covers or not. Go to BelGeode's page. Have a look through his review videos and his commentary. Go to the places that actually aren't getting a kickback from sending you somewhere to buy something. Just be aware of, everybody has an agenda. I'm not going to deny that. Like, as I said, I will be the first to admit, and I always declare this, is that I am a payware developer. So I produce freeware content and payware content. And when I produce payware content, yes, I will advertise it on my weekly news video. I will always declare it and declare you that, hey, this is my product that I'm now talking about for the next 5 minutes. So, we all have vested interests, but we as a greater community, if we come across incidences like this, we need to warn our fellow simmers. We all need to be ambassadors. We all need to hold ourselves to a high level here. Whether it be, if you picked up an add-on, like I picked up several add-ons over the years that I have picked up and gone, it looked great, and my God, was it a waste of money. And I have always then gone on and said to my fellow simmers, whether it be through my YouTube channel or just through word of mouth on forums, whatever, said, do not get this. This is a steaming pile of shit. But I will always.
We've heard several times, and actually, that's a really important point
as well. Yeah,
your weekly news show, and even shows like Frugals and whatnot. Yours in particular, though, is of extreme importance to this subject, because honestly, I think a lot of the folks out there that are aware of this situation that we're talking about, without even having to divulge the name of the perpetrator, as it were, we all first heard about it from your show, because you were the one that called attention that something wasn't right with this guy. Something was not right with this product. So what you do is extremely important. We need you to rip that stuff apart and let us know.
So and it's going to be something to think, and it's look for the and I hate to do this because I know unfortunately what ends up happening is that a lot of very good developers and a lot of very good quality new and upcoming developers end up getting tarred with the same brush. Sadly, unfortunately, but it's a reality, unfortunately. But as Sergio pointed out, the meteoric rise of support and of fame of Microsoft Flight Simulator since the reboot has led to a lot of people coming in and seeing us as cash cows, because they've taken one look at the price of prepared add-ons for the last 5 years and gone, holy crap, they thought League of Legends stuff was overpriced. Wow. It's like, it's so funny. Like, I hear people talk about EA DLCs and I go, wow, y'all haven't looked at flight sim add-ons lately, have ya?
Nope. Nope.
So unfortunately, one of the things and one of the sad realities is, and to sort of, again, skirt the legalities here of this one, is that one of the things that I call out, and to a variety of degrees in my weekly news show, is that if I see a developer that's either brand new and suddenly releases a slew of stuff, or releases multiple things and the quality of their product rapidly declines as their price point rapidly increases, or if you have a developer that suddenly pivots from one type of flight simulation content development to a completely different set almost overnight, then you have to start asking questions. And especially if what that developer suddenly released is something that community is seeming to want. Because I hate to say it, but if we as a grander community start squawking about something, hey, we really want to see something like a fast jet, or we want to see more fast military jets in our sim, and then suddenly you have these fly-by-night phantom developers that pop out of the woodwork and are suddenly offering something. The old phrase,
too good to be true. Yep. It sounds too good to be true. It probably is.
So we as a community need to do our due diligence as well. That we have to look at this, and if you're not sure about a product, wait for reviews. Look for your trusted sources of information, wherever that may be. I'm not saying it has to be the three of us, but whoever, or wherever you go for your flight sim content information, go to those sources and say, hey, I've seen, and sometimes, for example, my Novarat video relies on the community from giving me heads up. I do 10, 12 hours worth of research for it. But it still relies, at the end of the day, on community giving me heads up of stuff that I may not see. So, contact your creators, your where you get your news from, because they're probably, Sergio, I don't know about you, but I know I rely very heavily on news tips coming in from the community.
Well, completely. Yeah. This is a team effort. So a lot of the content comes from the community or the developers themselves. Fortunately, Helisimmer has made its own reputation for the last 5 years, and I'm getting developers getting in touch and showing products and sending me news, which is refreshing. It's rather refreshing. All that hustle, all that trouble that you go through when you're starting a project of trying to get information, it kind of reverts and people start sending things at you, and it's a great feeling because you start to be able to pour more content out there for your viewers, which is your primary goal, right? That's your primary goal.
It is pretty cool, especially when developers will come to me with an upcoming product, and like the first thing out of their mouths is, "We can make it in purple." You don't have to make it in purple, especially if it's a warbird. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Just give him a paint kit. He'll do it himself. That's fine.
I'll do it myself. Yes.
Yeah.
So I get.
I want to open a can of worms.
Oh boy.
Hey, we've still got another can that we've already started cranking the handle on, but sure.
I know, but I feel that we I don't want to make this a very huge session as we usually do, but I think we need to do something, which is we cannot just say that this is wrong and just lay it over to the community and hand this responsibility to the community. Because the community, it's not just you, me, Drew, other content creators, or people that consume our content, which are usually the same people that buy those products. We cannot rely solely on ourselves as one of the endpoints of this. I wouldn't say it's a marketplace, but more of an ecosystem, right? Because we have the guys that make the products, we have the guys that intermediate sales, because let's face it, most of developers don't do a lot of sales unless they are on specific platforms. X for the sim ABCD, Y platform, Y for whatever sim it is. So we all know what we are talking about. There are several websites that are very strong on every sim. For example, Microsoft has their own marketplace, and let's be honest, it's going to be very hard to beat it when you can buy games from within the game, when you can buy add-ons from within the game or the sim or whatever it is that you want to call it. It's a game or a sim.
I love how every episode we manage to bring that little nugget into every episode. I love it. Sorry.
Yeah, it's just a perpetuous joke.
It's the pre-canned joke. He's just like, okay, which time park are we going to put it in this week?
Yeah, but
I'm just going to throw in there. I'm Team Boeing this week with the Boeing Fertile Chinook.
Exactly.
Might as well throw that in there. If you want something Airbus, go ahead.
Talking about the Airbus 145. No, we're not going to talk about that one this week. But the thing is, what I want to say is that we're talking about, and you said it right, Tracy. All of us need to be aware and raise the red flag when this happens. But the thing is, we shouldn't be the only ones that need to do this work. And again, I said that this is going to open a can of worms because there are so many aspects behind it. And I know we as a community have been trying to flat from this, and even those marketplaces have been trying to flat from this. And even marketplace that's doing something right.
Microsoft, I know where you're going with this, and Microsoft have been trying very, very hard to avoid this.
Yeah. And Microsoft has part of the solution already in place, but it doesn't have the other part of the solution in place. We need to have the ability for people to ask for refunds. We need to have the ability for people to buy a product, try the product, not be happy with the product, return it, and get their money back. Because until we have a way for both marketplaces to be on check and developers to be on check, and know that if the product is not good, they are not going to make any money. Because here's the thing.
No, you're right.
I'm going to just release, I don't know, a helicopter. No, I'm going to do a terrible job. So me personally, I'm going to release an airliner. That way you know that it's going to be it's going to be awful.
It's going to be top shelf, 100%. It's going to be completely on point. You're going to pitch it to everybody as a super ultra high definition with amazing wing flexing animations and all this stuff. And then
tire smoke.
And tire smoke. And then and then quietly tell someone that you've not coded any of the systems to actually behave anything like their real world aircraft.
Systems are overrated. also, and we all know,
Says the
that.
systems engineer.
Oh, this is going to segue nicely into our next subject.
Yeah, that's why I know systems are overrated. I do them and they don't do anything at all. So when I code them, so yeah, but still, and Drew loves his hairliners, as we know. So Drew is going to buy my amazingly beautiful airliner. He coughs up I don't know $30-$40 for my amazing airliner, and he checks it out.
Got to be like $60-$70.
Yeah, but mine is not that, dude. Come on, it's a.
But
here's the thing: a lot of the times those add-ons are not sold for a lot of money. They are kept on a very average zone.
Yep.
You're probably not going to see a guy that has stolen stuff from other developers to sell it for $100.
Sell it for itself $100. You'll see them sell it for $20, which suddenly appeals to a lot more of a price point. Yep.
Which
or 30, or 30, like
right.
this particular one was being sold for.
And all of a sudden, Drew realizes it's shit.
He was lied to. He lied to me.
He's been ripping me off for months.
Yeah, I'm not going to have to return Drew's money. The money's on my side. Drew lost his money.
Yep.
Right. And that's exactly what's been happening with not only pirated stuff, because people don't see refunds.
But shitty quality stuff that doesn't do what it says on the tin. Because,
and then marketplaces come out and say,
it's not our fault. It's not our problem because under whatever random regulation they decide to work under this particular week, that digital products are exempt in most jurisdictions from refunds. Because once you buy them, you're done.
Exactly. And because
Yep.
And they can claim something, which is we have no control over the software, because people buy the aircraft and they can just copy it and send it to someone else. So if I give this person a refund, and I understand the point of view. If they give this person a refund, nothing will guarantee the person is not going to keep on using the software.
Yep.
So there's something that people hate. This is like a pet hate from the gaming community. It's not the flight simulation community. It's the gaming community overall. DRM.
Yep. And
people hate DRM, but DRM is the way to make sure that we protect the developers' work, and we protect you as a consumer. And that's the thing that when you go all, I want to have the freedom to have my software, you are actually giving away the freedom for not being ripped off, because this is a tool that would allow e-commerce platforms and developers to refund you for the software in case you weren't happy with it. And because you don't want DRM, and because you don't want the hassle of DRM, because you want to feel free in somehow. And most of you guys, let's be honest with you, with everyone, most of you guys have no idea what this freedom means. You wouldn't know how to copy an add-on from a computer to another computer, even if you wanted to do it. Yep. Right? So all this freedom is not really freedom.
Freedom isn't free.
Yeah, you are giving away the ability that you have to actually make a difference and tell a marketplace and or the developer, this is not cool. I don't like this product. You need to go back and check it out. Steam has done something very interesting that I never thought I would see on Steam some months ago. They added the ability to refund games. And I have refunded games.
Yep.
I have told the developer, I'm not happy with it. I want my money back.
Yep.
And some developers I've heard, and they have improved because this happened to a lot of people. A lot of guys refunded a certain game, for example. Some other developers didn't hear, but that's their problem. And there's one thing, you guys know that I am now, I've been working with a gaming company. So I've I've started to see how things work from a developer standpoint as well. So I started to see Steam, the platform, from that perspective as well. And I started to see the tools and everything else. And there is a concern in the game development industry that works with Steam, which is the return rates, the amount of people that return, or the percentage of people that ask for refunds after they buy a certain title. And this became a concern. This is a concern with developers now. And this should be a concern with add-on developers as well. They should think, okay, I'm going to release something, but if it's not to be of quality, people are going to ask for their money back and I'm going to lose money. Because right now, they have free reign. And we haven't had any more serious cases because we were quite a niche market. We were quite a niche little place in the gaming industry, and it's a gaming industry, guys. Shut up. We were in a very niche
incredibly
place
niche. We're incredibly niche that was dominated by a dozen names, and those names are the only ones that had survived, that had built a reputation on producing quality work that had an exorbitant price tag, but you knew if you coughed up that money, you were getting something that, you know, would entertain you for hours. So I 100% agree with you. And now you can just throw something up on a web store, and unless you're in a very small number of jurisdictions, then if you get somebody who says, I don't like your stuff, I want my money back, you just say, well, no. No, you can't.
And now we have more users coming in, so it's exploding on that side, and you are seeing new developers coming in, so it's exploding because there is more people out there again. Steams are trending on, well, not trending, but they are. People are more aware of the existence of Steams, and on the market of Steams, a lot of people didn't understand it. They didn't grasp this. They didn't have this understanding that it's not just about buying the sim. You don't just buy the sim and that's it. People I've talked to a lot of people, including the journalists from CNN that talked to me about Microsoft Flight Simulator, and they had no idea of the ecosystem around sims. You know, there's more money on the after sale of the sim. You get X-Plane, you get Microsoft Flight Simulator, you get Prepared, you get whatever sim. Well, perhaps not Flight Gear, but that's a whole new thing. That's a different way of community dealing with.
But it's the ecosystem. It's the ecosystem that comes after it. Is what and whether you like it or not, and I'm going to actually extend this even a little bit further from there, Sergio. Is it's not only about the refunds. You know, the refunds has been an option because if a developer knows that their profits are actually on the hook of going, if I put out a shit product, I'm going to make no money. I'm probably going to lose money because any platform I sell it through is going to get shitty at me from having to refund all their money as well. And I'm probably going to get blacklisted from a sales platform. So not only does a developer have to then think, but also and this is the part that I want to see more of, is that platforms that sell content need to take more responsibility. The Facebook cop-out excuse of we're just a platform is complete bullshit. Like, I'm just gonna call it. It doesn't matter whether it's, you know, social media, whether it's news, whether it's videos, whether it's gaming. If you are selling something and making money from it, then you, as far as I'm concerned, you have a duty of care to make sure that content is of a sufficient standard to make sure that your customers will actually find it useful and find it enjoyable and find quality in the content. And you know what, I have to actually praise Orbix for this. So Orbix's platform, I mean, we theorized here, I'm pretty sure here on this show, we theorized several years ago when Orbix broke away from Flight Sim Store and they set up their own e-commerce platform. And when they we sort of wondered, are they wanting to become the Steam of flight simming?
Yeah.
You know, we
I remember
theorized
you
this,
saying that.
yeah, we talked about it. And
I even wrote an article about it back then. And we talked about
Yeah,
it,
you did.
yeah, so I think that in a way they've actually done even better than what Steam's done. Is that not only do they have a I'm not going to say a closed ecosystem but you know it is like they are. You have to be invited onto their platform.
It's curated.
So
Yeah, it's very
curated. That was the word I was looking for. Thank you. So,
Mm.
you know, and again, unfortunately, Microsoft initially promised us that their marketplace was going to be curated. It's become abundantly clear that it is not, and that needs to change. But the point about Orbix is that Orbix curates their content, and just because you're a developer that manages to to be invited onto their platform, not all of your content makes it on. And that's really telling. That
let me ask you.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
you were saying that Microsoft Flight Simulator marketplace is not curated, but let me ask you something. How many of you have seen the Bell 47 on the marketplace? Okay, let's go on.
It just came out. It takes like 2-3 weeks for the average add-on to end up on the marketplace, let alone something like that.
So diverging from this topic secretly, honestly, first up, I have no inner knowledge. Although I am part of 2 teams that are on the marketplace, I have no inner knowledge of staffing or anything like that at Microsoft, but my impression overall is that they are severely understaffed. Whoever's running that marketplace side of MSFS is way understaffed and way under-resourced. I'm pretty sure they weren't expecting the number of people to start putting content out. Not only some very high-profile developers still waiting to get their approvals to start selling this stuff on the marketplace. When Dino is a classic example. When Dino puts an update, it's taking a month.
Yeah, but that means that someone's looking into it, right? So it should be curated.
Should be.
What's happening?
Often word there being should be.
Yeah. So if people need to wait 1 month, 2 months for the add-on to be approved into the marketplace, why is it that we're seeing all? Why don't you just open it up? If you're not going to actually verify the files, or I don't know, if you're not actually going to go through that work of making sure that the product is decent to be on the store.
Then just open it to everybody and just let it run. Yeah. And it seems like
I could understand that if you told me, look, I know 100% sure that these products are just top notch.
Yep.
Okay.
I think that their own internal processes are still being worked out, and I think that their own internal communication needs setting up. I think inside that marketplace team. I think because we've seen some incredible stuff get on there. We've also seen the delays that some really high quality stuff there takes to get updated, and we've also seen some steaming piles of shit get released on that store. So Kitfox. So it's just. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Sérgio, is that they need to figure out which path do you want to walk down. Do you want to walk down the curated path and then throw more resources at it to make it actually useful? Or do you just open the start of the gates and throw your hands up in the air like a lot of other retailers have done? So
I have a suggestion for Microsoft. They always said that they wanted to work with the community. Work with the community, involve people that, for example, like you, Drew, or Tristan, or even other guys like Frugal. Look, they invited a series. How many were we during the 2 days that we were at Seattle?
30
or 40 on the first day.
Yeah. I know it's 2 days, so it's about 60 people all up. At least that.
The second day, I think that the second day was more more
general media.
General media. I'm pretty sure the CNN
those
guy
of
was
us
there.
in the community.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but let's say that they were talking about an ecosystem of at least 30 guys that they trusted enough to invite them to go to the event and show them Microsoft Flight Simulator, and they trusted us to
Give them
do
honest
our
feedback
work.
and basically try and break the sim for them. Yeah.
Exactly. And they always said, and they always have been working with the community. Why not ask for volunteers? Get in touch with those guys get in touch with us, with people like us that were there, and ask them, look, would you mind going through some add-ons that are, being asked to get into the marketplace and tell and give us your feedback? Why not doing that? It's at least we would be triaging. At least we would be saying, yeah, okay, look at this. This is worth looking, or don't look at this. This is a huge pile of shit. Yeah, just kick this out.
And the thing of it is, too, especially with like a lot of the aircraft that's coming out, we'll use, for example, the Bell 47, since you mentioned it before. In some cases, some of us have actually been beta testing it. So we know exactly what to expect with that particular product. We can vouch for it, or we can say, no, you really don't want this in the marketplace. In the case of something like that, since we know how it works and everything, and we've been involved in the process, we can easily say to Microsoft, this one 100%, go ahead and put it in there.
Yeah,
and it works the same for a lot of the other stuff, though.
Yeah, and I understand there are legal reasons behind the fact that they probably cannot just rely on external people to give a go.
There are NDAs. We're all like those of us who, especially those of us that were in Seattle,
an NDA at one point.
We're all professionals. The rest of it, and you're right though. I do get that. There are legal avenues and all the rest of it, but I see where you're going with this, Sérgio, and I think you're right that a decision needs to be made somewhere that, and I think you make a really good point that they talk about involving the community, and I've got to admit that they've been really good about engaging with the community. They had their first hiccups at the start, but they've got a lot better, doing their monthly dev reviews, their announcements, all the rest of it, like actually doing their Q&As. Like, they've been a lot more involved than any other sim platform is. Like, let's like, whether you like MSFS or not, you've got to admit that the developers and the management from that team spend more time with us, the community, talking with us and going over our feedback and our experiences than any of the other sim platforms out there at all.
Yeah.
So, that's a really thing. So, hi there, folks. Nova24 here. So, obviously, there is a second topic that we would be talking about in this episode, but we talked for a really long time. So, we've made a decision as three grumpy simmers to actually split this episode into two. So, to save you and your time, we're going to wrap this episode up here, and we'll be back very, very soon for a second episode where we will discuss in depth the release of Captain Sim's first product for Microsoft Flight Simulator. See you very, very soon.